So my name is Stephanie. I'm the founder of Awkward Money, and today we're about to start a money safety plan session. Thanks for signing up. Today's just more or less to get to know one another and see how I can help you. Yeah, I know your name is Kyle, but Kyle, why don't you tell me more about yourself?
My name is Kyle. I go by Kyle J. Atwater. I am a creative. I do social media consulting for therapists across the globe. I also am a curator. I'm an artist. I'm also an event producer. So I wear a lot of different hats as a creative. And, a lot of it is because when I was younger, I've had to develop like a really diverse skill set in order to survive. And so now that I am a professional, I use that to my advantage. But yeah, sometimes the money situation gets a little difficult. So I'm glad to be able to talk to you today.
Yeah, so this is really why I created the money safety plan. It's just more or less to understand what's going on with money, how do we talk about money, how does money impact us, and hopefully you can take that information and apply it to whatever business finances or personal financing you have going on, because it can be intimidating or a little scary. So hopefully
definitely.
After today you can approach it just a little bit differently. All right, so I have a couple things planned for us. I just want to get a better understanding of what some might say is your money story or your money wounds. Basically what that is we all grew up probably learning about money in different ways. We had our parents fighting about it. Maybe we've gotten in disputes with friends over money, just how money kind of sticks with us. So that's what the first part of this meeting is about, and hopefully get you situated for a plan on what you want to do. Learning about that situation or that particular way it impacted you. All right. So the first part, I call this the financial wellness assessment. I'm just going to ask you a few questions and just mark that I do see you on my screen, but when I'm over here, I'm just typing up some notes. All right.
Okay, cool.
So my first question is, over the last month, how often have you felt confident about your financial stability?
Well, this last month, not that often, because this last month was a little shaky. I'm going to be honest. So not often at all.
Okay. So the next one is called understanding money wounds. Like I said, money wounds are just, maybe we have certain ways that we approach money. Maybe you've probably heard the scarcity mindset, fearful type of money spending. This is just to better your money habits and how you are as a spender. So the first question will be, if you suddenly received a large sum of money, what would you do first?
I really want the new iPad for business purposes, so I'll probably go get that. And whenever I have a large sum of money, I usually spend it on like a tech appliance that I really need, or clothes, or
Is that partially because maybe the iPad will make your job a little bit easier? Or if I buy a certain outfit, that confidence when I'm in networking.
Yeah, a confidence thing, mainly,
And with the iPad, is it a confidence thing as well? Oh, everyone else seems to have an iPad too.
I mean, but as an artist, it's like a necessity to have, because, it's Apple Pencil, so you can draw on it. I would definitely go buy that first.
Okay. So according to this, you're kind of like anxiety and a guilt wound type of thing. So really what that means with anxiety, this type of wound, a deep-seated fear and stress around money. Individuals with this wound often worry about financial stability and may feel overwhelmed by their financial responsibilities. So I'm talking bills, taxes. If we have a sudden expense, whoa, what did I just do? What just happened? And they might avoid spending altogether or prioritize saving excessively due to a fear of I'm going to lose it all. I call, I'm going to be living in a van down by the river type of situation. If I don't have all my P's and Q's ready to, I'm going to be really in a bad situation. But what's interesting is that you also border on the guilty wound or the guilt wound, which is where, folks feel undeserving of financial success or, may feel a little weird about, being financially comfortable because they're not used to it. That's the big thing. They may experience feelings of shame or remorse when spending money or even on necessary or enjoyable items. So going to the grocery store and you need that milk or that bread type of thing, but do I really need it this week? Do I really need to spend my money? Or, you know what, I haven't gone on vacation and I really feel kind of burnt out or really low energy. Going on vacation seems really important to me, but man, that guilt, it latches onto you, you know? And what's also playing at play here is the shame of it, you know, or you feel remorse when spending money. And so you start to go into this path. Maybe I need to be frugal. Maybe I need to save my money so I don't go back to that moment. Maybe I didn't have enough. And I'm so to avoid those bad feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with a lot of those.
Yeah. So if we want to unpack more about those money wounds or those money stories, I would definitely spend more time just figuring out, okay, what are those stories? What happens? How do we get to this place? You know, because you seem busy. You got your, you know, everything put together, but this underbelly of maybe I'm trying to run away from something or protect myself from like previous situations. And if I just keep leaning into that, then we're just going to go down this path of like, I'm always going to be scared. I'm always going to be, you know, I'm always going to be concerned about this, and it's going to deplete you energy wise. So what the safety plan is really about is trying to figure out, all right, I know I'm probably going to be anxious. That guilt and shame is going to latch on to me every once in a while. An actual step-by-step plan to help me cope with it or help just be more aware of it. So for this part, it's going to be more participation.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we're going to try and do is basically understand what type of spender you are. All right. I'm going to share my screen again. We'll go down the list together.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So first question is, what is your attitude toward credit cards?
I kind of pretty much avoid them. Yeah, because I just feel like it's a trap. So, yeah.
I'm not going to lie, with a lot of folks, whether like people of color and the BIPOC, that is a normal opinion to have. Maybe we know someone who has had bad credit, or we're trying so hard not to get a bad credit score, or we just don't trust it. So I'm blaming. Yeah. And what I'm seeing, you're kind of like in a balance planner. So a balanced planner is someone who has a well-rounded approach to their finances. They save and spend in a balanced manner, maintaining a healthy financial state. They budget effectively and are prepared for both short-term needs and long-term needs.
Okay.
Now, are you kind of surprised by that? No, that's about like where I put myself as well.
I am a little surprised, but I definitely feel, you know, I definitely can make things work, even if, you know, because with freelancing, it's a lot of ups and downs. So even the down periods, I can figure it out. And I try not to panic, but yeah, I mean, to be transparent, there has been like some downs, especially in like this economy, you know, but I think I can figure out how to make it work. Yeah.
So I think the safety plan will be hopefully easy, but if not, if we're touching on subjects that are maybe too much, too overwhelming, we can definitely take a step back, you know? But again, because you are more of a balanced spender and you are able to figure it out, I'm gonna challenge you and kind of hold you accountable to the idea. I think you're the type to take care of other people before yourself, you know? So there might be some days where, am I really in a position where I need to take care of myself or kind of check in about my finances, you know? And I think when you're questioning that, maybe do it as if nothing, you're not in crisis mode per se, but you can do this stuff even before there's a crisis. Just a normal practice that we add to your routine. All right?
Okay, that sounds good to me.
All right. So the first thing, we have to recognize the warning signs. What generally comes up for you? Do you feel maybe tension in the body? I know I get headaches when I'm struggling with my finances. Yeah.
I definitely experience, when I'm stressed about finances in particular, I definitely experience a shortness of breath. Yeah, I sometimes feel dizziness and, you know, I start pacing a lot. I might start fidgeting with things.
Hey. Are you any feelings or anything internally that comes up during these moments?
It's hard to describe the single emotion, but it's definitely related to stress. I sometimes can get panicked, but I do try to affirm myself in those moments, or I'll try to like come up with solutions in my head, when those things happen.
I'm getting a sense it's hard for you to delve into the emotional side. Is that fair to say?
I don't dwell in it. I try to find some type of solution if things get bad. I feel sitting in my emotions too long for me can turn into unproductivity. Like, it's not productive for me.
Okay. So is there maybe we're not dwelling, but we're processing emotion?
Oh yeah, I definitely.
Okay.
That's a whole nother thing. When I'm going through something, I need time to process. That might be me just like sitting down for a second.
Yeah.
And figuring it out. Yeah, I definitely, when I'm trying to figure out a difficult financial situation, I definitely need quiet and I need no one to be around me. And I just need to sit down and just kind of process my feelings for a minute. Yeah.
Awesome. So as long as we have that process, we have that way of telling the difference. Because some people, they think, oh, processing is the same as dwelling. No, there should be a way for you to express feeling or kind of take a moment, and it's not dwelling. So as long as you know that we're in good standing, Okay. So you pacing. How about like other behaviors that come up when you're really stressed about money? Do you notice if you're probably impulse spending a little bit more? Do you notice if you're hiding purchases from people you care about, or maybe even avoiding financial responsibilities? Maybe we're not opening the bill when it comes in the mail, or we're not even looking at our bank statements as much.
Yeah, I definitely will not look at the bills as much. I definitely will. I have an email account that's just for bills, so I definitely would not log in at all. And yeah, I do tend to, if things are bad, I just need to avoid the situation a little bit until they become better. Like, I find that works for me, and it gives me more time to process and figure out a plan, a strategy, how I can tackle my debts. Yeah.
Okay. So we kind of need to isolate a little. Is that going in a dark room, just not engaging with people, or what is that for you?
Oh, I definitely need to just shut off contact with, it can be friends, it could be loved ones, but I do have a part of my process where I just need to, and it doesn't have to be like in a dark room. I can go to a coffee shop and isolate. But yeah, I feel when I'm going through difficulties, I just need my own time to figure it out, like without any outside voices, opinions, distractions. I just find that works best for me.
Okay. Distractions. It's maybe have we reaching out to folks, or maybe getting some other opinions and maybe just too much too soon type of thing?
Well, that's the thing. I isolate so I can process how to ask for help. For me, I would never just be in the thick of a situation and call someone in the moment. I need my own time to figure out, okay, who would be willing to help me? Who would listen? Who would have the resources to help me? Which I'm not sure if it's good or bad, but yeah, it's a pattern with me. I'm
gonna say in capitalism, technically it's wrong to ask for help. But what capitalism does for us, it is meant to isolate us. Because when we're alone and we're scared and we're full of anxiety and guilt, guess what? We're probably gonna buy more. Like, if you looked at early cigarette ads, the whole idea that they were trying to sell was, oh, women want to be this beautiful, empowered, figure. But what they were also feeding on the idea was women did not have a lot of freedoms. They couldn't get a bank account, they couldn't own property, they couldn't move in the world as freely as they wanted. So why not choose whatever cigarette? That's your choice, and this could be your empowered self. But it's combined with this idea, if we feed on their fears or kind of their unconscious desires, then they'll spend more money on our brand. But for people in our communities, we thrive in community. We thrive in like, hey, I need your help. Can we collaborate? Hey, I'm struggling with this. Can we, figure out a game plan together? I'm Latinx, and we have a word called pláticas. Like that is me going to my tia or another woman in the community who's probably older or who I know is more experienced, and I can depend on them. Like, hey, can we talk about this? You know, my community will go to that before a therapist or a doctor. To say you're not sure if it's the right way for us, yeah, it is. For a lot of us, it's the only way.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely know that I have a strong community around me, artists and creatives, especially, Black queer artists, Black queer people who are doing the same type of thing as me. But I think my fear is we're kind of all going through similar things. And so it's hard I don't want to become an extra burden. Sometimes I feel like me and my problems don't really outweigh them and their problems. But I am starting to work communicating what's going on more with my community, because I do feel like oftentimes when I am more open, we're able to share resources and collaborate, as you said, but it still is a difficult process for me. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it's difficult for me, yeah.
Yeah. And we also don't want to approach them where we're just a mess, like we don't want this other person to put us back together, So maybe the next few steps, how do I approach this person just a little bit more composed and just a little bit, okay, I've done this. I'm kind of hitting a wall, and this is where you can come in. Okay. So I think what I would recommend is, I think you're really good at figuring maybe you just need a distraction. I need to do something else and, just kind of figure out what my body needs. What I'm going to recommend is, have you heard of the grounding technique called the 5-4-3-2-1? The 5 senses. So basically you use your 5 senses, and because especially when you're at a cafe, you can use the exercise a little bit more easier. But basically what you do is you go look for 5 things around your room that you can see, right? And it can be certain, if you see a lot of blue or greens, like just kind of notice that, right? The next one, feel around and identify 4 things you can touch. So the table, maybe the coffee cup, just kind of feel around what you have in front of you. The third one is hearing. So hear 3 things. So if you're hearing customers, coffee being made, like just kind of notice surroundings basically. 2 stands for smell. So again, coffee smells, bread smells, like whatever's around you, right? And the last one is taste. So if you're tasting your coffee or whatever you're eating or enjoying that particular moment, and just the texture and the sensations and the actual flavor of the food. Because I don't know about you, but with coffee, we do it on the to-go. We don't even enjoy, And places like Italy, they're like, I don't understand to-go coffees. How can you have a to-go cup? It's meant to sit at a place for hours, and you're supposed to sip it.
Yeah, I definitely chug it, yeah. Especially if I'm on the way to work or something.
Awesome. And the last part of it, basically, we just identified like more short-term solutions. Eventually, we have to move into the long-term. So this could be figuring out maybe better ways to do some financial planning. Do we need to schedule meetings with your financial planner? Do we need to set up an emergency fund so you have a little bit more cushion? Do we need to figure out a way to have like a better or realistic budget, especially during those low months? Yeah. And do we need education or resources about our money? If there's an accountant that, can look at your books before tax season, or if they're holding workshops, that could definitely be a resource for you. But there's also, in the age of Beyonce's internet, there's tons of free stuff on YouTube. So that can definitely be, something that's open to you.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And last part is maybe we need to talk to other business owners who are like, can we have open conversations about money? What are you guys doing? And we're taking the burden, quote unquote, and I don't like that word, but because you used it, I'll use it with you. We talk about it with business owners who are like us or in the same level as us, and we can feel more comfortable and open talking to them about it.
Yeah, I definitely have made a point to like reach out to people who do similar things that I admire and just kind of ask them about, in ways that feel not invasive, but ask them about their finances, like how were they able to make this happen? I've demystifying that is super helpful for creatives, Black queer creatives, because there's kind of this, I do sometimes feel hush energy when it comes to that type of thing. And I feel being more transparent about it, the struggles, I find that to be the most helpful when starting a business. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll send over a copy of the money safety plan. You'll just sign it and date it. I would put it somewhere like maybe like when you're doing your billing. This is just a good reminder of what you're trying to do. And I use the word intention because promises, I think they're a little unrealistic when it comes to money, but at least, with intention, if you don't do it, it's fine. But as long as you're aware and you're trying, that's all I ask. All right.
I love that. Yes.
Okay. So that's the end of the money session. How was that for you?
That was great. Yeah, I do feel this will be helpful for a lot of different people. And, it's helpful for me as a creative who, has generational trauma around money specifically. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited to share this with folks.
Yay.
And I appreciate your time. Yeah.
No, I appreciate your time. Thank you. And yeah, let me know if there's anything else I can do.